Welcome to another day of our Activate Symposium. My name is Monica Henderson, and I'm the founder and creator of Mink Life Motivation and the president of Mink Life University. And I'm so excited to bring this topic to you today. So if you've ever thought about, I wonder why some companies have people who are clamoring to work for them, and other companies are really kind of having a hard time filling those positions. Well, today's conversation is really going to be an opportunity for you to dive into those topics. To help me have this conversation today is my fabulous co-host, aka panelist, and that is Peggy MacArthur, who is headshot photographer, head headshot photographer at Headshots by Peggy, and a co-host of Mink Life Motivation Live and the Mink Life Motivation Brand Builder Trainer. Welcome to the stage, Peggy. So happy to be here.
I'm excited to be here. I'm super excited. And I wanted to see if you could say headshot one more time. Like you didn't say headshot strategist. So I was like, could you do the tongue tie headshots by Peggy, headshot photographer, headshot strategist one more time, just for the fun of it.
Yes. So one of the reasons why I have Peggy be a part of these conversations about branding is because she knows that, the first step to your marketing is your headshot. It's the first impression. But I have had so many conversations with Peggy on Mink Life Motivation Live that who else would help me craft this conversation but Peggy? So shall we kind of dive in today?
I can't wait.
Okay, so if you are watching this on any of the platforms, don't forget you are part of this conversation. So feel free to drop in the chat your information, your comments, your thoughts. We want to hear from you. We will bring you in on the conversation because here at Mink Life Motivation, it's about real people offering real help in real time. So if you have any questions, comments, or rude remarks, we will take them all. It is fine. So with that, I want to kind of talk about activating the vision within, the activating your zone of genius, which is what this entire symposium is all about. And why is it important to really understand company culture when it comes to activating your zone of genius?
I feel Gary Vee's been talking about this a lot. If you follow him on social media, it's the soft skills, the compassion, all the things that make you relatable. I think we have to understand that although we have our own personal reasons why we're in business, the people that work for us have reasons to work for us. They may be working for us for a paycheck. They may be working with us for the experience. They may be working with us as a stepping block to the next place that they want to be in their life. And when we really respect that and give them an opportunity to express themselves and what they're doing, then we allow them to bring their genius to our place, and it's gonna grow. I think that too often we as entrepreneurs are afraid of, this is my vision, this is my thing, my, and we forget that it's the diversity and the collaboration that makes you look great.
Absolutely. We were kind of talking about that yesterday on the roundtable with Marilyn about how the more diverse voices you have, the better the carving out of that vision, giving it great detail and layers. And so you're dead on for that. One of the things that I think about when I think about company culture is a company that people grow up wanting to work for, right? Wanting to work for. I mean, we all had those companies like, when I grow up, I'm gonna work for this cool company. Allows you to be one of those companies that is going to stand the test of time. And so that company culture not only is great branding for the future workforce of America, the future workforce of whatever country you're in right now, right? But also, if people want to work for you, they obviously are going to want to buy from you. And that's kind of one of those things with branding that we don't necessarily think about this particular area. I think it's probably one of the under conceptualized concepts for small business owners, because we don't think of company culture. It's just me, right? So what would you say about someone who's like, well, how am I going to create a company culture? I'm the only one in my business.
So, as a photographer, I've always felt like I was alone. Like, it's me. You come to me. I do the, everything and everything and everything. But I remember back in the days of printing, I had a wonderful printer that I went to, and it was kind of him. He was the main person there, and we talked about that. We talked about how actually we are each other's company culture, because I'm nothing without him and he's nothing without me. And I think as entrepreneurs, we need to broaden. Maybe they're not, maybe we're not W-2ing them. Maybe they're not technically an employee, but without them, does your business still thrive? Can you still run your business without these other people? And whatever that looks like in your specific situation. And how do you treat them? Because, my lab guy, my printer, he was like, on holidays, man, I was there with, the little trinkets and the little gifts, and that I'm thinking of you and that you're special and that I appreciate you, because I knew that when push came to shove and I had a rush order in and he had 15 other orders ahead of me, that I wanted him to be able to like bump me, because I wouldn't be able to keep my commitments to my clients without that little, And I think that we need to always think about like how we treat the people that work with us. Other people see that. Other people see that. And I want to give money to companies that treat their employees well. I have been in businesses, and I'm sure you have too. And you're like, wow, this must be a horrible place to work. I don't want to give them my money. If the cashier's going to snap at me, consistently every time I come in here, all the cashiers are snappy. This must not be a really fun work environment. And this makes me not want to give my money to them, because I don't want their corporation to profit from treating their employees horribly.
Yeah.
And other people see that in us. How do we treat other people? How do we treat the other people around us that work with us? They see it. Whether you believe it or not, they see it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
seen.
We all know people who work for companies and that company sucks, right? And they're always complaining about their job, and they're always complaining about their pay. They're always complaining about all the different things. I mean, I don't know how many people have complained about working at Walmart before Walmart decided to do a few things to make that better for them, right? And I don't know about you, but when I heard that Walmart wasn't treating their employees properly, I was like, I'm not shopping at Walmart. That's not a place I'm going to, right? And so until things start happening where, on the other hand, on the Target side of it, right? I've never heard anybody complain about working at Target. So I'm like, well, they're a discounter too, and no one's complaining about working there, and they seem to be able to pay their bills, and they seem to be happy working there. So I think I'll go there instead. And so there's a lot of examples in our community where you have two choices that are essentially similar in choices. And to be honest, I think Target might even be more expensive to shop at, right? I don't know. I haven't been in Walmart in so many years because of that original factor, right? But the choice became, well, who's treating their people better? And if I have to pay a few cents more in order for people to be treated well, then I'll do that, because the difference between what I'm paying is 10 cents on this item to 10 cents on that item. That 10 cents is worth me going up the street to somewhere where people are being paid well. So that company culture, and it sticks with you. It's been years since that report came out, and I still think of that company as a place that doesn't take care of their people. Now, they may or may not, and I haven't done any research, and please don't spam me with all this like Walmart is blah, 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 blah. I don't know. But there was an article that came out, and from that article, I made my decision. And most people don't realize that those kinds of things are part of your branding, and you have to now overcome those kinds of branding. So With this conversation about branding, I wanted to kind of like ask, how can you activate your zone of genius by building a strong company culture?
So my daughter works for a big bank. Anybody that knows me knows I'm pretty much anti big bank. That's a whole other conversation. However, my daughter works for this big bank. And, you know, I'm sure when she was offered the job, we had the conversation about, really? But this bank, um, A, they were giving out bonuses like 2 weeks after she started, and she got a bonus. She wasn't even through training yet, and she got a bonus. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. And she got vacation, and she got this and that, and just all these things. And I said, this company wants you to retire with them, and she's in her mid-20s. This company wants you to retire with them. This company wants you to buy your first home with them and mortgage it through them. This company wants you to tell all of your friends and family to put their money with them. And it's amazing how their thoughts are different from a lot of the big banking that we think of, and how they invest their money and what they do. But to watch an employee grow and thrive and love what they do, even though it was something that initially we were kind of like, that's kind of a, touchy spot in our belief system of what, big banks typically back. And so it was interesting to see and watch this company culture. I'm like, don't ever leave this bank. They're amazing. They want you to retire with them. They want you to grow with them, and they obviously want you to put all their money with them and bring people along. But they do it in a let me help you and let me serve you way, instead of a give me way. And I think that's the thing that we often forget. And I think that kind of sums up company culture. Is what is of course, all of our motivation is to grow and to make money, obviously. But how are we going to accomplish that? Are we going to accomplish that in a shady, give me, sleazy way? Or are we going to accomplish that in a look how I can benefit you and how I can show my concerns and compassion to you and help you be a better you? And in that, we all come out ahead. And I think that's the key right there, is how are we going to achieve our goals? Because you can achieve your goals by being a scumbag, or you can a sleazy, give me, cutting all the corners, no paid vacation, grumpy environment. Or we can all grow together and we can all profit together. So what side of that coin do you want to be on is the question.
Yeah, when you were saying that, it was reminding me of the conversations that we have. I know you and I both go to Agape, and when they talk about you never spend money, right? You never spend money. You are not a consumer, but you are a circulator of energy, and you are a circulator of good. And the way you were describing that kind of reminded me of, like, as small business owners, when we are taking on people to be a part of our company culture, whether it's having a trainer who has their own business, but like maybe licenses your own stuff like I do in mine, or having a printer who you outsource your work to, we are circulating energy through our community. And if that energy is bad, then we're circulating bad energy, right? But if that energy is good and uplifting, we're circulating good energy. And so, but when you think about like all the places that energy continues to circulate, right? Every person that we give money to help support us in our business then gets to circulate that same money, that same energy to their family, to take care of their family, or to buy goods from a different vendor or a different business. And if that has good karma on it, imagine the good that we're doing when they're like excited to have earned that money excited to have worked with you, and then proud to take that same money and put it somewhere else, and proud to take care of their families, and proud to really support the people around them. That's that energy circulation coming from a positive space can actually change the world in a big, huge, profound way. But imagine that same amount of money being begrudgingly gotten, right? Yeah, I had to do this, but I resent the fact that I had to do the things I had to do, or I had to be treated the way that I was treated, and how that same energy goes with that money, where it's like, yeah, well, I'll just pay these bills, but I can't wait to not have to deal with people like that anymore. And I'm gonna put this stupid money in this stupid gas tank to get my car where it has to go so I can go to this place, but I really don't like going to this place, and I hate the fact that I have to do that. How that same amount of money, regardless of how much it is, with good energy and joyfulness in working with to attain this money, and how that can very easily be something completely different and change the world for a negative space. And so when you were talking about that, I was like, wow, I just saw the full circulation of energy in how we are treating people who are working with us.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's crazy. One of those moments. Thanks for letting me go down that particular rabbit hole. So, so we're, the Activate Symposium has really kind of all been about how we're activating our own zone of genius. And this week we've been particularly talking about connecting creatively. And we started the week with, romantic partnerships and how we can connect creatively there. And yesterday, Marilyn and I had a great conversation about connecting to our human resources creatively and kind of really tapping into them. And so in this conversation about company culture and how we are trying to be creative in our connections with the people who are working with us to support our vision of what we're trying to achieve in the world. And I know a lot of you who are watching this are coaches and experts and thought leaders and change makers, and you're really out here not just to make money, but to actually change the world and to make the world a better place from your own perspective. Peggy, what would you say is some of the ways that they can actually start connecting creatively with people in order for them to really change the company culture and to make them feel like it's a great place to grow and learn and develop and partner in that space?
I think the way we start that is by listening, by really looking and listening. What do people want? And then think about what their needs are, and then how you can give them that, or how you can help them accomplish that. What can you do? Some of you are out there and you're doing things that you're working with people and they really want to learn from you.
Yeah.
So maybe offer them those things. Offer them, hey, offer them internships, or offer them, hey, shadow me on this, or whatever that is. And it may mean the world to them, and it's something you're already doing. It's not even going to cost you time or energy or anything to have that extra support. But it starts by listening, because I know I love my swag. I miss going to events and handing out stuff that says Headshots by Peggy on it. I have stickers, I have pins, I have.
She legit does, and we have most of it at our house. And every time we come, she's like, "Here, have a Headshot by Peggy swag moment." Yes.
We had because just before the pandemic, I bought all these super cool pins with a marker on it, right? And so they're still sitting around 2 years later because we haven't gone anywhere. So at our little Super Bowl party, I'm like, "Here, we're playing commercial bingo. Use these. They have markers and pins." It's ridiculous.
It was a whole thing.
Anyway, I said all that to say, think about, like, the reason that I have pins with markers on it is because I work with a lot of actors, and actors get scripts and they're always making notes and highlighting things. That's something that's actually useful. That's something that if an actor gets a highlighter and a pen in one, they'll actually stick it in their bag and keep it. They won't just, drop it. A sticker, probably not. I have stickers because I'm a child, and I know that nobody wants a sticker, but I like stickers. Anyway, so, but think about it comes from what can I give you that's going to put a smile on your face, but also something that's going to benefit your life. And it starts by listening and watching and asking questions and actually doing something relevant for the people, not just, hey, I'm going to give you a coffee mug. Okay, thanks. Yeah, we have a talk show, so a coffee mug's freaking cool.
Oh yeah.
But if I gave an actor a ceramic coffee mug, like, what are they going to do with that? Like, they don't want headshots by Peggy on a freaking coffee mug.
Yeah. Oh,
So think
absolutely.
about your audience. Think about in people that you're working with. What's going to benefit them, and give them something relevant. And it could be as easy as your time. It could be as easy as, this is a class that I offer that I sell. I'm going to give to you because you work here. You can take this class for free, and or whatever that is. But listen and make it relevant.
Yeah, the what's funny is when driving the company culture, sometimes it actually helps you develop your relationship with your customer as well. And so I say that because I've accidentally created a bunch of stuff in my business to support and foster a great company culture, and in the end realize that that was something that my customer actually needed as well. And for those of you who have never been a part of the incubator, or have been under the rock, and I have an incubator like over and over again, this incubator in our community. I had that very thing where I was sitting there and I was like, how do I help my trainers really kind of take their businesses to the next level? We've taught them, they have all these action planners, they know exactly what they need to do, but balancing that time to be able to do the things that they need to do and pushing their business forward was really hard. And so I remember very specifically asking myself that question. I'm hearing the same things over and over again. I know what I'm supposed to do. I know I have these action planners. I got it all figured out. Now what? And I believe Peggy had just came out of Mink Life University's uh, the entire principals program, and she was just finished, and she had her action planners, and Marilyn had hers, and we had a few graduates from before, and they were all like, okay, we have all these action planners, 24 of them to be exact, what are we going to do with these? And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I really want to support them to their next greatest thing, right? I really want to push them to the next thing. And I keep having the same conversation over and over again. How can I facilitate something that would support all of them? And so, I just want to put it out there that Peggy said I was a cult leader for the suggestion that I came up with.
I didn't say you were a cult leader. I simply said, you told me about this. You said, okay, we're going to do this thing 4 hours a day, 6 days a week. And instinctively, I was like, this woman is insane. Sign me up. I turned to my husband and I said, so I'm pretty sure I've just joined a cult. And I guess
So there's that, right? What it came down to was that I wanted to help them organize their time and energy, right? So that they could actually get all the things done.
I want to mention this too, Monica. I know I just interrupted you. But when I joined this cult, the Mincubator, it was a 6-week commitment. It was
Yes.
just like, it
four
was for
weeks.
us. And it was a 4-week, it
4
was a
weeks.
4-week commitment. So you just said, hey, we'll do this for 4 weeks. And then at like 3.5 weeks, we were all like, no, we're not going to stop this. Like,
Right.
this is going to keep going. And so just to give you the credit of not actually being a cult leader and making us do this 365 days a year or whatever, one day minus 50, whatever 52
Right.
minuses. But yes, we are the ones that actually said, no, you can't quit.
He said they
Sorry.
literally told me no. They were like, no, we want to keep doing this, and you have to figure out how we can. And that gave me inspiration for, well, if this is what they need, maybe this is also what our clients need, because our clients are just like them. They're business owners who are trying to get their businesses together. They're thought leaders. They're trying to change the world, and they need more support. And so I say that whole story with, the addition of the cutaways for Peggy's, this is what we did, a part of that, to say that sometimes when you are focused in on your customer, your company culture, and how you can support the people who support you better, you actually come up with brilliant, genius, and ingenious ways to be able to support your client better. Because in a lot of ways, your men on the street, like my trainers, right? The men on the street sometimes are the ones who can tell you what the true needs are. And so really kind of listening, like Peggy was saying, and being very supportive of the solution for the problems that are happening there can actually end up helping you with your bottom line even that much more. And so now when we have meetings, people are like, wow, I never thought to do something like this. And it's amazing how you guys are always here, and has brought us to changing. Even this morning, we were working on changing our mission statement to really align with this new thing that accidentally happened last summer. That we are now, what is this, month 7 of of this thing that was supposed to be 6 weeks. We're now in the 7th month or 4 weeks, but it's now 7 months of it, of really kind of offering real people, offering real help in real time, and changing the company, our company culture, to align with that. So when we made decisions, we were thinking about adding a strategic partner in, and I called in all of the team members and I said, hey, I need your help in deciding whether or not this is a good company for us to partner with. And it came down to, well, is it real people offering real help in real time? Well, they had the real help, but it wasn't in real time, and it was kind of too big of a company for people to feel that company culture that we had already set up. And so for them, it was a blanket no, even though some of them had already went through the other program that we were talking about. So that company culture is not just the moment of where you're really kind of supporting them and that's it, and the genius ends there, but it actually can be the spark of inspiration for those next steps. Are there some things that kind of like happened like that with you, Peggy, where you were working with someone on a problem and it actually gave you that spark of genius to really kind of elevate your own business?
All the time. I think I basically everything I've ever done in my business has started off to help one person. And then it's like, oh, back in the days when I was doing families and babies and portraits, um, this lady came to me who was working with me, and she said, I really want to do this plaque with, like, the baby's name on it, but pictures of the baby like on hanging on each letter.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yeah, we can do that. Like, I'll give that to you as a gift for your baby's 1-year birthday or whatever. And I did it, and I was like, oh, this was kind of fun. And then all of a sudden that became something that I offered in my Watch Me Grow package as the kind of the 1 year, because, it was newborn, 3 months, 6 months time. And that was kind of the 1 year special for their birthday, and, things like that all the time. It always ends up, somebody says, can you help me with this? Or I really need this. Or would you do this for me? And you either already know how to do it, or you're like, well, I could learn how to do that really quick. Let's see. I have this bad habit of saying, yeah, I can do that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, you mean throw a whole global conference I've never used Zoom before? Sure, why not? Let's try
why
it.
not?
I'll learn Zoom this weekend.
I
Yeah, I've
learned
never done that.
exactly.
Never done that before.
Yeah, stuff like that. And so, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is my biggest seller. Like, this is my biggest draw for something. And it literally was just a favor for somebody that was helping me out, that was marketing for me and doing some stuff for me. And I just did that because she asked. And then all of a sudden that became like one of the biggest draws, one of my biggest marketing like plugs that everybody loved. And it was like for years, that was like the big deal. Like, oh, you got to go to Portraits by Peggy and get this thing. Can only get it at Portraits by Peggy. And
Yeah.
so it's really fun. And I think that's how, when you leave yourself open to want to help people, most people are kind of, I mean, bottom line, we're all the same. We all want, to be happy We all want to be fulfilled. We all want to, be safe. We all want these same basic things. And so when you help one person, five other people are like, wait, you do that? I'll pay you. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, speaking of paying you, so I know recently you just had a working on the actor workshop, and that was a new experience for you, and you had to really kind of grow in your chops as a business owner, working collaboratively with speakers and all of those things to really support a community. And so, what were some of the lessons you learned in creating this event um, about company culture and like how to foster, kind of like getting people on board for the vision that you have, and being able to keep their spirits high and kind of motivated? Because I was there and they were so excited to be a part of it.
So the concept was so different from what the traditional actor workshop is. And I had to have six speakers come on board with me that were industry, known, that were known for this to work. And you and I spent months putting the bones together for this conference, the all the stuff. But what made it work was all these other people coming in. And I learned how to communicate in a way that I didn't know I could communicate. And Monica knows because I called her at least once, literally in tears, like real tears, not just like, oh, I'm a little upset. I was like, these people don't get it. They don't see it. If they would just do it, they would love it. And Monica's like, yeah, welcome to being a forerunner. Like, suck it up, Peggy. Put your big girl panties on and do this. And I learned that I had to sometimes step back from my big vision and understand what they needed to know to get on board,
Mm.
and break it down and give them little pieces. Don't give them the whole steak, but cut it up and give them a little bite, just enough that they want to come in and have another bite, because that's all I needed them. I just needed them to say yes. All they had to do is be on a panel or three or four panels and do a 30-minute presentation on what they already know. Like, they didn't have to know anything they didn't already know. They just had to believe that I wasn't crazy, or that I was at least sane enough that it wasn't going to ruin their reputation. They had to just say, okay, I'm going to try this. And it's funny because I won't say my biggest, I don't know how to describe it. She is a very, very well known acting coach and teacher, and has a huge reputation all across the country. Um, and she really pushed back on every single thing I said. Well, why? Why would you do that? Actors don't do it that way. Why would you do that? To the point, that's literally why I called Monica crying. And I was like, I don't even want her to be a part of it. Like, I don't want her anymore. But she made me really look at every angle. She made me really have an answer for every question.
She made you
And
justify your bullshit, is what that was.
yeah, and I love to just wing it through life, and normally I can just wing about any conversation. But she made me find answers to everything and really know why. And at the end of that day, she called me and she goes, "Oh my God, this was amazing. I can't wait to do our next one. How are we?" And I'm thinking, what is this we and our stuff, honey? She was like, she wanted this to be not just I'm a part of Peggy's thing, but all of a sudden she's like, I want to be, can I be a part of this? Can this be our thing? And I thought that was really funny, how just making myself take a breath and step back and not worry about what I needed and what I wanted, but to focus on what each individual speaker needed, what do you need? How, some speakers needed money. Some speakers needed reassurance that the people were going to get benefit out of it. Because some of the speakers are like, I just don't see how this is going to benefit actors. And I'm like, and and so I had to step back and see what each particular speaker needed, and then show them why this was exactly what they wanted and what they needed. And it worked out. But that was the thing, is I had to step back and not say this is the speakers, but say this speaker, and what do you need? And what do you need? What questions do you have? What do I need to give you? What do you need to see? And really break it down, which is hard for me. I'm an Aquarius. I see the whole picture, and I just follow me. We're going to get there. But not everybody wants to jump in blindly. I've never led anyone astray, so I don't know why they wouldn't, but whatever.
They can trust me. What's happening? I don't understand why we're questioning this.
But it's really and that is company culture right there in itself. Is what does not every single one of your employees, not every single one of your partners are going to need the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Find out what they need, because you have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
And they don't need everything you have. Don't try to give them everything. They don't need all the other stuff. They need the thing they need.
Yeah, one of the things that in one of the talks that I've given, I talk about how we all have funnels and we don't realize that the funnel exists, right? We have the funnel is really designed to help the money that's outside work its way inside, but it has to go through these different rungs. And the first one is, of course, networking and connecting people to it. And so when we're talking about this particular section about like connecting creatively, it's really like those power partners that we're connecting with to support us in our vision. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But that second moment is once you have those power partners, then it's about like, okay, well, what kind of company culture are you going to actually have in order to make sure that people want to work with you and want to work with your dream and want to be a part of what you are working on? And so, hey Juan, how's it going? And so really that having holes in it, that having like blockage prevents the money from coming all the way in, right? It prevents you from actually being able to receive that so you can actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. And so this piece of company culture, although it's something that I think most business owners have a hard time thinking about, or don't even, just completely discount it, I believe it is one of the two things that people just completely disregard in the first place when it comes to your brand and setting up your, all the components to your branding. Secondary to company culture, I would probably say would be the customer experience. Those are two areas that we don't even think about as branding, right? We think that, oh, that's different. That's business stuff. But by really spending the time in this particular topic of company culture and how you are supporting the people who are supporting you as you push this mission forward, it really is something that we should actually pay like the most attention to, because it could be the very thing that halts people from continuing to want to work with you. So as we are going to start wrapping this conversation up, because we, literally
We can talk all day.
Can talk all day, and we are not going to bore you all day with our banter. It's never boring, but you have other things you need to do with your life. I want to ask so what is the one thing that someone should consider when they're thinking about their company culture and how it helps them activate their own zone of genius? I want you to be thinking about that, but I want you really quickly to share, what is your zone of genius?
What is my zone of genius? Okay. I want Monica to answer this for me, but first, because I can answer, I know what Monica's zone of genius is. I think my zone of genius is the fact that I have the ability to really see into people and see beauty and see talent that they don't see. And I'm able to bring that out and capture it. I mean, that's literally what I do is I bring people's personality out and capture it and show them a side of themselves that they may not have realized that they actually possessed until they see it. I think that's my zone of genius. So,
Absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. And I would add to that particular statement is that you can hear and see someone's insecurities and
oh
give
yeah.
them complete, like a chill pill on that particular insecurity so that all the rest of that shine can come through. I would say you have like Peggy has a chill pill for all of you. We're like, but I'm fat and I don't like my neck and my chin and la 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 la. Or just about anything in particular. She's really good at kind of hearing your insecurity so you don't feel like she just disregarded it altogether. It's like, okay, cool. Yep, I hear you have it. And we're just going to go ahead and figure out how we can work around it. It's fine. And keep you kind of really on that ascending path to really tapping into your inner beauty and your inner light. So I would say, for sure, you nailed your, your zone of genius. And so, with you understanding this particular zone of genius, what is one thing that someone can do when they're creating their company culture to ensure that they are really allowing not only themselves, but everybody on their team to really work within their own zone of genius?
I think what I said earlier is really step back and give people the space and listen and encourage people to bring their own point of view. If you have a situation where you have company meetings, open that up for discussion. Say, this is my vision. What do you think about it? This is what we do in the incubator. Like, I believe that everybody in the incubator is my coworkers. They're all my employees, and I'm their employees. I may be swamped, and I know Monica's seen it before. I am swamped. I have 15 things to do in the next 2 hours, and one of my coworkers come in and they're like, Peggy, can you retouch this picture for me really quick? I'm like, yep. And I drop everything and I go do that for them because I know in return I'm going to say, can somebody proofread this for me? Because
Yes.
not only am I a bad speller, but I really don't care.
You're not a bad speller. You're creative like I am. We spell with our heart.
And, I do like to look like I have more than a third grade education. So I do like people to to proofread my stuff before I put it out there. Um, so, eh, but I listen to them and I listen to Monica and I listen to different people. But when you open up and say, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and then you just start barking instructions, you do this, you do this, you do this, and you put them in this box, you're limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself. Instead, you are smart. You hired these people. You chose to work with these people because you saw something in them. Because they in their own rights are geniuses. So allow them to shine in their area. Don't ever feel like someone's taken the glory from you. The more you surround yourself with brilliance and amazingness, it just makes you look better. It just makes you look better. Every single thing in my business is better because I didn't do it all myself. I didn't do my website all myself. I didn't do my, all these things. I had other people's inputs that I chose to surround myself with and ask them. I have brilliant ideas. And then when I say them out loud to other people, maybe they weren't that brilliant, but I do have enough brilliant people in my life that they can take that and see, oh, maybe you meant to say, put this back around here, Peggy. Maybe this is what you really meant. Or maybe this would be a little bit better. Or maybe this would be a little bit more impactful. Or people know that I want to empower people. And so, Peggy, when you said that, it seemed a little limiting. Maybe if you do it this way, it would be more empowering to others. Oh, well, let's do that then.
Yeah.
Let's do what you said,
Yeah.
because that's what I wanted to accomplish. And that's, to me, what company culture is.
Yeah.
And then people are happy to work with you because they're appreciated. You listened to them, you saw them. I don't know about you, but if I'm seen and I'm heard, I'll do anything for you.
It's true. It's so true. So true. We have, oh, Natalie is chiming in here. How would you say diversifying your brand content creation activates your zone of genius in branding your company? Good question. So diversifying your brand content creation. That is a mouthful, Natalie, but we will tackle this question. Thank you for chiming in with that. So Peggy, did you have any ideas? You want to put it back up there because that is a doozy of a
That's
question.
that's a doozy. Okay, so how would you say diversifying your brand content? Does that mean like having videos, having images, having quotes? Is that what she's saying? Do you think?
Yep.
Okay, so you're trying to reach a lot of people. Not everybody is going to read a blog. I have a friend that writes beautiful blogs. I mean, just beautiful. And I may read one every 6 months, and she puts them out weekly. I don't sit and read vlogs. I don't. It's not my thing. Um, on the other hand, I put out a lot of video, a lot of video. And you know what? Some people are not going to listen, watch a video on their phone because it stops. They can't do other things. They can't text while that video is running. So a lot of people aren't going to see my video. So I've also made it a podcast because some people will let the audio play. That way they can continue to do their other things. And of course, graphics and images and quotes, I love those things. So I think that as long as they're all giving the same message, you need to diversify because everybody learns differently. Everybody has different time restrictions. Everybody has different, when I'm editing images, I want to be hearing stuff. I can't see it because I'm working on the images, so I want to be able to hear, something, and I can listen to, hours of stuff and learn stuff while I'm editing. But I can't necessarily watch something because I'm using my eyes to do that, and we all have our different needs. So giving everybody an opportunity to jump in and see what you stand for and what you're doing, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, and just to kind of add to that, the diversification. Um, Not only is the different use of different media important, but also diversifying your subject matter and your tone can also help too, because a lot of the times we get on and we're talking about the same things over and 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 over again. But if you're saying the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, at some point it falls on deaf ear. So it's really important for you to not only diversify the actual message in the way that it's being delivered, but also to diversify how you are delivering it. One of the reasons why at Mink Life Motivation, we have things like the Symposium, and we have Mink Life Motivation Live, and we have the e-magazine, and we have the community post, and all of those things is because we want people to, one, have this space of collaboration. It's like I got ding dongs going on and all that other stuff. But we want them to not only have that collaboration happening, but we want to hear the same topic coming from different voices, so that you actually have a variation of tone to get that moving forward. So while I answer my door, Peggy, if you don't mind, uh, giving me one last little note on company culture. On company culture.
One last note on company culture, and she's going to walk out of the room and give it to me. All right. Well, let's just see. I think I really feel like I covered company culture really thoroughly, as far as I personally believe it's all about listening. It's all about having compassion. It's all about what I can do for you. Because if I'm coming at you with that service, with that heart of service, then in return, you're going to be compelled to want to work for me with the same amount of compassion and excitement. And if I hear you, then you're going to be more apt to listen to me and my vision. And I say this with headshots all the time. The more specific you are, the more broad your headshots become. In other words, the more thought you put into your brand and the more specific you are, the more it opens up people's imagination. Oh, I see, this is what you want. You know what else? We could use this over here too. We could use this over here too. So when you're very specific and compassionate about how you're giving your message, it opens up people's imagination to what else they can do. Oh, you do headshots? Well, I need this, and it opens up that realm. So think about what you do, and don't be afraid to be specific in your zone of genius, but also keep those ears and eyes open and listen and see what people are saying and doing.
Love that. Love that so much. So, thank you so much, Peggy, for being on with me today and talking about company culture. As we are simulcasting not only on LinkedIn, but on YouTube and Facebook and all the other places that we could possibly put this thing. If you are enjoying this conversation, just know that we are here to activate your zone of genius for the next 4 weeks. Because as we finish 1 week and we're finishing up this one tomorrow, we will have a conversation specifically about power partners, and you don't want to miss it. Well, we'll have Carolyn and Susan from Grand Connections to have this conversation with us, and they'll tell us how collaboration goes really far. And I am so excited because next week we will get all the way into the conversations about how you can work wise. So each week we have a different theme, and I'm so excited to talk about life, business, branding, and networking with you, with my moderators and my collaborators and all the amazing people from our community. Realize that at Mink Life Motivation, it is not just about learning, as though learning is great. We want you to have real people offering real help in real time. And just like this live, your questions can be answered from any expert in our community. So we're excited to have you be a part of that. For more details, go to minklifemotivation.com or minklifeuniversity.com. And this has been your Activate Symposium Roundtable on Company Culture. We will see you tomorrow.
Yay.